It's not fun getting old, is it? I can only echo some of that sentiment, but I really want to welcome you all here. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to those who have travelled from afar, for those who couldn't be here, and for those we miss. I know Mum would be overwhelmed and humble to see you all here today. Mum wanted no fuss, now it's our turn to fuss over her. I stand before you immensely proud and truly blessed to have Thelma Elizabeth Ann as my mum. When I think of Mum, Thelma, or just Thel to most, I feel love, warmth, kindness, and all the good things life can be. From my earliest memory, Mum filled our lives with love and devotion. That love gave us and me the confidence to be whatever I wanted to be and whatever we wanted to be. That love, as John has said, has never wavered. I have to be honest, I don't think I gave Mum an easy time, especially when I was younger. From getting my head stuck in the railing of the cruise ship taking us back to the UK, to being hit by a car in front of her parents, I'm sure that was a joy. Setting fire to a grass tree just to see how it would burn, and realising that the fire engine was a bonus. Later I made Mum scream, taking her for a spin on my motorbike. I thought it was laughter, but later found out it was a scream. Mum was there for every scratch, cut, wound, accident, sporting event, embarrassing speech and drama nights. At hockey, Mum asked why I was off the field. I told her not to worry, the umpire had kindly given me a 5-minute rest. I rolled her car. She asked me first if I was okay. Never judgmental, only slightly disappointed. She would simply ask that I endeavour not to do that again. There were a couple more not to do that again that followed. I remember after I stacked my bike on the paper round, the usual bark off, Mum came to the rescue and the trusty Valiant. Collecting me and the bike, she helped me finish the round, and she never asked for a cent from my $1.25 pay packet. I know I kept her entertained because she would say, "What's next?" Some of my fondest chats with Mum centred on a life before children. Working as a pitman's secretary, meeting her friend Jean Faulkner, Mum earned the sum of £3 a week. I said to her, "How on earth did you survive on that?" Evidently £1 went on board, £1 went on transport, and £1 went on shopping. So obviously the board included food. She went shopping for her favourite shoes, high heels. She laughed, telling me that they weren't very practical for running after the train. The pain later was excruciating, but all worth it to look so stylish. There was a trip to Switzerland, a visit to a pen pal. A daring trip back then, I can only imagine. She said the scenery was beautiful. She also had the pleasure to manicure, and don't ask me how, the famous author Agatha Christie. I have it on good authority from her that she was a lousy tipper. Mum spoke fondly of how everyone worked for each other during the war. And as Dad has given you more detail, it's where Mum learnt to do without. And I think Dad dodged a bullet here because Mum was very economical. She did not crave lavish clothes, lavish cars, lavish house. Mum is very proud of all her grandchildren. She recently wrote them all down and showed me she could still write. She smiled, contented, that smile of achievement. She knitted us jumpers, scarves and blankets.'t drove us anywhere and everywhere. She typed homework assignments. I don't think remember doing any. And CVs, and made a gazillion cups of tea. Laughing or crying, her cuppers accompanied it all. And I'm sure most of you here have shared a cuppa with Mum. Mum didn't seek fuss, but she fussed over us. Ties for birthdays. And Christmas, more excited for us. I remember her speaking fondly of our time at Fortescue Street, and some of us will remember the pace of life wasn't as rushed. We had a big backyard and a jungle gym to play, neighbours that became adopted family. A safe place, she would say, One night, Peter, the youngest, decided to go to Larks' Deli, only a block away. I think it was fairly late. He was returned safe, but alas, no bag of lollies. When we were all laughing, Mum was at her happiest. A treat was fish and chips, a bottle of beer for Dad, and a lemonade for us. It gave Mum a break too from cooking and doing the dishes, because we were lousy at that. Mum kept the world's troubles far away so we could enjoy the present. On one weekend, Mum drove us to East Street Jetty for a fishing expedition. She was barely visible over the steering wheel, and children bouncing in the back, or more like jumping, attracted a police car which pulled us over. When the young officer got out and looked in the window, he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your face." Afterwards, as we giggled with relief, I think Mum said, "I think that was quite rude." We caught a lot of blowies that day. I remember us all cheering in the driveway as Auntie Maisie, a lifetime friend of Mum, and ours of course, and her boys pulled in the driveway after an epic trip across the Nullarbor in a Volkswagen Beetle with no aircon. I think we still laugh at that. Mum's stature did not stop her taking on enormous workloads. She rarely raised her voice at us. She never lamented the past, never complained, never blamed anyone else for her lot. She tolerated and remained silent. She endured. She took some crippling blows that life can deal you without warning. She just dusted herself off and got on with life. She always made sure we were fed and bathed and clothed. A boiled egg and a toasted finger. Mum loved a simple meal. She is our inspiration. I remember driving Mum to a job interview in 1980. Whew, flashback. Little did I know it was the start of a new working life for her. She was in administration until only recently and enjoyed the company of her workmates. I know Mum would have liked to have seen the Grand Canyon and all its natural splendour, and there was some talk that we drive her to the Kalgoorlie pit. With a wry smile, she told me, "It's just a big hole in the ground, isn't it?" As Mum's illness took hold, she fought hard to stay with us. She confided it was the little things she missed. A phone chat, catching up over a cuppa, her regular swim at the uni pool, nipping down to shops in her little car, which she loved, for milk and bread, lotto, or a quick flutter on a hot tip at the TAB. It wasn't a vice. Popping in on Pip for a cuppa, visiting Simon, zooming off to collect David from school, a movie with SARS. I suspect we all have fond memories of Mum. I know we will see Mum in all that we do. Mum lamented not being able to walk, but there was some relief, especially for her when she learnt to drive her electric wheelchair. Her face lit up, freedom to come and go as she pleased, and as all the family know, she gave a big thumbs up. One sunny Saturday, we suited up and headed off to Crossways Shops in Subi. Mum driving, fingertip control. I cheated a little bit when she got near the curb. Me strolling by her side. Mum stopped to organise some flowers at the florist to be sent to Pip as a thank you for all she'd done for her. Mum always thanked us for coming to visit. We continued on for chocolate and coffee and a laugh. We zoomed around Subi, locking down all the newsagents to cover her favourite lotto numbers, just to be sure. As we paused outside, Mum said, the sun felt so good on her face. "You'll be missed always, Mum." And I thank you for a lifetime of love and loving memories. May the sun always shine on you, Mum, as you have always shone for me.
Is there anyone else who wishes to?